Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Clinton School of Public Services webinar on our field service projects. My name is Alex Tinquist, and I'm a graduate assistant with the Office of Community Engagement here at the Clinton School of Public Service.
And my name is Rachel Villafane, and I am the other graduate assistant at the same office. Okay, so the first thing that we want to talk about is field service at the Clinton School. So first of all, what is it? So the Clinton School is a Master's of Public Service degree program, and the program requires students to complete 3 projects with partner organizations. These would be the field service projects. And so why do we do these projects? There's 3 reasons. The first is we want to make sure that students are integrating the theory they're learning in the classroom with the practice of doing it in the real world. The second reason is we want our students to be able to gain valuable work experience while they're still, in the classroom and in the program. And the third is that we want students to be able to make meaningful contributions to organizations and the community.
So these field service projects they coincide with the courses that students are taking during their first year. And some of these courses are communications, field research, program planning, evaluation, and global development. So all of the skills that students are learning during these courses in their first year are directly applied to the field service work that they'll be doing for 3 projects out in the community.
Okay, so the first type of field service project that occurs at the Clinton School is called Practicum. And so this project happens in the first year for students, and it occurs in the course of 2 semesters, so from August to May. Practicum projects are team-based, meaning there are 3 to 5 students that are going to be working on a single project. And Practicum really just gives students a safe environment to be able to apply the research processes that they're learning in class into the real world.
The second field service project that students at the Clinton School of Public Service complete is the International Public Service Project, or IPSP, and this normally occurs between the first and second year of the program for students during the summer, so from the time to May to August. This is a single person project, so this is not a team-based project like Practicum. And at minimum, it has to last 8 weeks, but it can also go up to 10 weeks. So students are working with an organization that has an international focus, and they are working full time during this 8 to 10 weeks. So this project is more autonomous than Practicum because students are allowed to find an organization that they would like to work with and then talk with that partner about what kind of project that they want to do, the scope, and the timeline as well. So the point of IPSP is to give students immersive cross-cultural experience. And typically this means that students are going abroad, so they're leaving the United States. However, we do have foreign students at the Clinton School of Public Service, and we do not require them to leave the United States again since they're already in a cross-cultural experience.
So the last of the 3 types of field service projects at the Clinton School is called Capstone. This is the culminating experience of the degree program. It's the last service project that students are going to be completing. And this one is a lot more flexible, and it's the most autonomous of the 3 types of projects. So it can range in length from 1 to 3 semesters. Typically, students are going to take the full academic year. So it's typically going to be 2 semesters, but it just depends on the student and the partner and both of their needs. And with Capstone, students are going to be able to pick projects that align with their career goals or their skills interests, what skills they're wanting to gain before graduating.
So who do we partner with these field service projects? So the only requirement really is that the organization is addressing a social change. So the organization doesn't have to be a nonprofit necessarily. It can be a for-profit, a multinational corporation, a small grassroots organization. Really just the focus needs to be in the realm of public service in order for us to partner together for these projects.
Okay, so there's no perfect formula that makes a successful field service project, but these 5 components are things that we have recognized to be kind of across the board necessary. The first is, again, obviously it needs to be a project that is addressing some sort of public service. It's just a requirement to even be a public service project. The second is that it is challenging for the students. So we want to make sure that students are actually learning and applying skills that are going to be useful to them in their future careers. This really just means that we don't want our students to be doing any sort of like clerical intern work. We want it to be a meaningful project that is going to make a difference in the organization that they're working with. Third is we want to make sure that the projects are applying the curriculum that they're learning in the program. We really want to make sure that there's a full integration with the field service projects and the curriculum that they're learning in the classrooms. Fourth, the project should be clearly defined, meaning that the partner knows exactly what the project is and the student knows exactly what the project is, in order for, the project to go well and for the final deliverable to be useful. And finally, well-supported projects are obviously gonna turn out more successful than projects that are less supported. So, being willing to meet with students as they need it, to give them the information that they're asking for, to provide them with any sort of support that they may need throughout the process.
So we wanted to go over certain things that students can't do while partnering with a community partner for field service projects. So the first is that students cannot do highly skilled processes such as manage an entire strategic planning process. However, students can help work on pieces of that to aid in that process, such as writing goals and objectives, doing a SWOT analysis, and things like that. Second, students cannot complete 501c3 paperwork, which is the paperwork that's necessary in order to establish a nonprofit organization. But they can help gather that information that's needed in that paperwork, such as action plans, best practice research, different things like that. And lastly, students can help with advocacy and community support building, but they cannot do any political lobbying as representatives of the Clinton School of Public Service.
Okay, so we've kind of talked a lot about the different projects, but we want to make clear the difference between Practicum and Capstone. Our international project is, kind of on its own. That one is pretty easy to understand the difference. But between Practicum and Capstone, so Practicum is going to be a team-based project, whereas Capstone is completed by an individual student. Practicum, again, you're going to be with first-year students, whereas Capstone is going to be completed by a second-year student. With Practicum projects, the school is selecting the projects, whereas with Capstone, the student is allowed to select their project. Practicum projects are typically going to be more generalized, whereas Capstone is going to have a more specialized project as students are kind of honing in on what they're wanting to do post-graduation. In Practicum, you're going to have a very structured timeline. There is a course that goes hand in hand with the project, and that is to make sure that everyone is on track to finish within, the 2 semesters that they are given. Whereas in Capstone, the timeline is more open. It's really between the student and the partner to figure out what timeline makes the most sense. In Practicum, it's going to require more supervision and guidance, both from the partner and the school. Again, as those students are first year students at the program, and this is the first project that they're completing. With Capstone, the student is going to be more like that of an employee. By the time they've done Capstone, they've already done 2 other field service projects. With Practicum, we do ask that projects occur within a 2-hour radius from Little Rock. Capstones can occur anywhere in the world. And the last thing is that with Practicum, there are limited school resources available if necessary. In Capstone, we don't provide any resources from the school.
So we want to give some examples of practicum and capstone projects. In a lot of cases, it can either be a practicum or a capstone, with just a couple of exceptions. So one of those exceptions is that for practicum projects, students are not allowed to do program evaluation. And that's just because by the time they start the practicum project, they haven't taken program evaluation, the course at the Clinton School of Public Service. So we want to make sure that while they're doing their practicum project, they're well equipped to produce the best results for our partners. Um, so something like a capstone that's unique to practicum would be performing an evaluation on civic engagement workshops for Arkansas youth, creating a model to expand community involvement in programming. And it's best if you have a project idea and you're not sure if it could be practicum or capstone, just to contact us and we can talk through that and see where the best fit would be. And I'll give my contact information at the end of this webinar so that you can ask me any questions that you have about those.
So with practicum, as I talked about before, it does require more guidance from partners. So there are some things that we specifically ask of practicum partners. The first is that they provide an orientation to the project as well as to the organization that the students are going to be working with. The second is that they agree to regular meetings with students. These meetings are typically going to occur on Tuesdays, as that is the day that is built into their schedules as being set aside for practicum. The third is regular communication with the Office of Community Engagement. We also ask that organizations help provide resources and support to the students, anything that they may need to accomplish the project. Because the partners are doing the work day to day and are in the communities, we found that they typically, have the different contacts that students may need to accomplish projects, things like that. And finally, we do ask that partners a few times a year do an evaluation of student performance as well as on their partnership with the Clinton School. And that's just so that we can make sure that things are going well and that we can improve anything, as it goes.
So like we mentioned earlier, there are certain deadlines and timelines that differ between practicum and capstone. So we want to go over some of these so that you're aware. And if you're interested in applying for this next academic year, then this is kind of the process that you can go through. So the deadline to submit proposals for this next academic year, 2020 to 2021, is going to be March 16th. Basically, the projects that are submitted through the application are selected on best fit. And then those that are selected will meet with a faculty panel in the Office of Community Engagement around mid-April just to discuss the project in detail. And then those that are selected from that meeting will be notified by June if their project has been selected for the upcoming academic year. Capstone is a lot more open of a timeline, so proposals can be received on a rolling basis, and then those proposals are sent to all the students. At that point, it's up to the student to contact you about the project that you're proposing, and then agree on a project type and a timeline if they are interested in partnering with your organization.
Okay, so we do have a partner fair coming up actually this Monday, so very soon. It is going to occur from 10 to 11:30 a.m. And at this partner fair, it gives you an opportunity to meet with our students face to face, to be able to share your information about your organization and to showcase different capstone opportunities that you may already have in mind. And so if you are interested in attending the partner fair, you can shoot an email to either Hillary Trudell, who is the director of local programs, or Alex, who is the other person on this webinar, at the emails below. And if you have any questions regarding anything else that we talked about, again, feel free to email either of these people.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.